Now entering Nerdist.com.
James Bond starts when we start singing a song, and it goes something like this. And this is James Bond on James Bonding Podcast Superstar.
You just put yourself in contention to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Really?
Because the easiest thing to write in the world is a James Bond song.
Yeah, that's true.
And you nailed it.
Dun, 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 dun.
That whiskey voice charmer right there is our guest for the James Bonding Podcast today, Steve Agee.
Shaken and stirred.
What? How did he do
You probably
that?
have to start every podcast giving a spoiler warning.
Oh, we haven't done that. Yeah, there will be spoilers on
No,
this.
I mean, listen, if you haven't seen the movie, what are you doing listening to this?
Yeah, Mom.
Don't be such a piece of shit. My mother would never listen to anything I did.
Oh, that's not true.
Mine wouldn't either.
That's not true. My mom would. She just doesn't know how.
We should teach her.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
we
We
could- is your
have
mom
her.
local?
Local.
No, she's in Florida, but I can get her out here.
Let's do or Dad's podcast because you got yours from your sister, right?
Yeah.
You should have your sister and my dad on.
Oh my God, no one wants that. Well,
Everybody.
half of it I'm okay
Yeah.
with.
Well,
I
our
would
dads
listen.
and our sisters do. This is Matt Gorley.
This is Matt Myra.
This is James Bonding.
We are Matt and Matt.
James Bond.
James Bonding with Matt and Matt. Steve Agee, you
Yeah.
are our second guest.
That's right.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, guys.
We sat down with Steve, the three of us, together last
We had a
night.
powwow. We had a pre-podcast powwow where we got
Yeah.
Steve to not fall asleep during Skyfall.
Yeah.
It descended into turning Albert Finney into like a Foster Brooks stroke victim. That
Yeah.
couldn't-
Mr. Bond, I've been watching your house while we were gone.
Yeah, for the last 40 minutes of the movie, we were just talking like that.
As soon as he shows up, we were
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, there was nothing else to say except Albert Finney.
I fucked the Abernathy twins in this tunnel.
Emma, follow me, Emma. All right, so we watched Skyfall. So we watched Dr. No. Now we watched Skyfall. So we're gonna go back to front, meet in the middle.
We're flanking.
Yeah.
We're flanking.
We're
the Bond
meeting.
movies.
We're gonna be meeting at For Your Eyes Only
Oh.
with Tom Lennon. That's the one he desperately wants to talk about.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that's what we're meeting at. So Steve, you saw Skyfall.
Yeah.
Let's talk first. Let's just discuss a little bit about your background with James Bond. Did you like it as a kid? Did you watch it a lot? Did you ever get into it?
Yeah, I think I've seen all the Bond movies. This latest one, Skyfall, I didn't see in theaters, and I've tried watching maybe twice on DVD since, and always started it at a time when I was really tired. So somewhere in the middle, I would always fall asleep. So I'd never seen it all the way through.
Wow, I'm glad we got you to watch it. That I will say this about Skyfall, having now seen it 10 times, maybe.
Yeah.
It does have its lulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it tries to be very real and serious.
Yeah.
It loses a little bit
Maybe a
of
little
the excitement.
maybe a little too real and serious.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Maybe we're going to talk about that.
Honestly, I also, after watching, still don't know what that movie was about.
Well, that's part of my problem with it because
Something about a list. I know it's about a list, right?
Yeah, it's the bucket list.
Yeah, you got to get the knock list back.
Em
so you
wants
gotta-
her bucket list back because
It's her
she
to-do
doesn't have
list.
long.
She has 20 agents she really wants to fuck before she dies.
Yeah, she needs that list.
This movie is almost universally praised, and I feel bad for saying I have mixed feelings about it. That's where I
Wow.
think I'm finally coming down. It's taken me a long time to really do some soul searching, maybe light some candles, draw a bath
Cut some farts.
out of the Lompoc plain. And that's where I'm at, but we'll get into that.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie when it came out.
Sure,
I was
sure.
I was way on board, and I think it maybe having been deprived a good James Bond movie, save for Casino Royale, I feel like there hadn't been a good one for
Yeah.
15 years.
Yeah.
Like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I still like it. I mean, it's visually, it's an amazing
beautiful.
movie. It's really
beautiful
well
movie.
well
That
done.
may be the best thing about it, the way it looks. And I mean that as high praise, because I still like the movie.
Katie sent me a website. Katie, our fearless producer, who is at a dentist appointment.
Miss Moneypenny.
Our Miss Moneypenny.
Puts teeth above James Bond.
Her dentist
For
appointment
the
was
record.
at 2:30. It really is almost 2:30.
Thanks, Todd Glass. That's Todd's favorite joke. So we watched Skyfall, but Katie sent me a website, the Bond by the Numbers, James Bond by the Numbers. It's really good. Fantastic. It sort of breaks down all the numbers we were talking about. So I wanted to start by recapping Dr. No. And we'll do this with Steve here because we're bookending 50 years of James Bond with Dr. No.
50 years.
51
years.
And that's just the cinema. It's what, 61? Literary? Come on. Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Come on.
Come on, Eileen.
Come on.
Eileen.
All right. So
overalled, beret-wearing skank.
Where'd that come from?
It's a long story.
Oh, Dexy's Midnight Runner reference?
She was cute, though.
Which one? The girl in Dexy's
That
Midnight
one that
Runner
plays
commercial?
Eileen.
Now, what do you think that song is about? Let's be honest.
Because that's what we're here to talk about.
Do we think it's actually about coming on Eileen?
Oh, I never really took it that literally.
Oh.
In the modern age, it definitely is.
You guys are so cynical, and I'm
Welcome
pure.
to
And I'm pure.
Dexy's Midnight Runnering, podcast dedicated to Dexy's Midnight Runner.
My ex-girlfriend and I dressed up as them for Halloween once. Went over like a piece of lead.
A balloon made of Dexy's Midnight Runners.
I'm trying. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to find that fucking.
He's looking
link.
up James Bond by the Numbers.
I am.
Which is
keep
all
talking,
reenactments
guys.
of James Bond done by the cast of the CBS show Numbers.
Oh.
I'd watch that. Judd Hirsch is M, right?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
They want HBO. They call you.
Bond, what are you doing? Get out in the field. Find my list.
I'm doing math.
Are you finding my list?
It's a grocery list, Bond. I
You
need
found
to.
it.
AG, did you watch with like a parent or anything? Did you have someone that got you into Bond, or it was just always there?
It's my friends.
Yeah.
Got me into him.
Good friends.
And it started for me in the Roger Moore era.
Yeah, me
and,
too.
and then later, my late teen, I went back. I went back.
Do you guys remember the Menendez brothers' alibi?
No, I don't remember their alibi. What
Their
was it?
alibi was they
that they're-
bought a movie ticket for, I believe, The Living Daylights.
The Living Daylights.
That was the movie that
Guilty
came out.
as charged.
It was either The Living Daylights or License to Kill. It would be funnier if it was License to Kill, but
Wow.
oh come on,
Do you remember the first one you saw in the theater?
Fuck. I want to say For Your Eyes Only.
Oh yeah, may have been.
I know I saw Moonraker really early, but I don't know if I saw that on in the theater. It might have been on like Select TV or
Yeah, I had Select
on
TV.
TV.
Select TV?
One
Holy
of those
shit.
pay channels.
Yeah.
All right,
You got it.
May 8th, 1963. Everybody, Dr. No comes out. Budget $1 million.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Ended up grossing $16 million. So they got back quite a bit of their money.
What did this new one cost?
That's what I'm going to tell you
It's under
as soon as this
200,
thing
isn't it?
loads. Why is this?
$1 million.
I'm having a problem with this website right now, and the fact that it's not loading.
Dun, dun, dun.
Skyfall Blues.
Skyfall Blues.
Get out your clarinet and play Skyfall Blues.
Skyfall Blues. Blue sky falls at me. Come on. Goddamn motherfuckers.
Well, I can talk something about the history of this.
I can cut this
can't.
out, this
No.
part out.
Oh,
Don't worry about this. I just need this website.
The only, because every time I think I'll talk about the difference between Fleming and the movie, and obviously this isn't a Fleming title.
Correct.
Well, maybe not obviously. Maybe you don't know that. But
What was Ian Fleming's last book? Bond book.
it was A Man with a Golden Gun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he had notes for another one that Martin Amis finished, right? Colonel Sun.
Oh, yeah.
Under a pen name, he finished it. But the one thing from this movie that is from Fleming is that Bond's parents died
Yes.
in a mountain climbing accident, and his father was
His father mucker. His mucking father.
His father was Scottish and his mother was
British.
Swiss, I think.
And they died in the Alps, right?
Yes.
Correct? They died in the Swiss Alps.
But then Fleming only made Bond's ancestry Scottish after Connery had played him in the movie. He went in one of the novels and kind of, I think he liked that, so he went
retconned
back.
him.
Yeah, he did. He sure did. And that's how you end up with
Skyfall.
Blues.
The internet is the slowest fucking thing in the world.
Bond,
Steve,
your Wi-Fi is really sketchy in this house. Bond, you don't even have a TV in this house. Bond, why are all these bad guys shooting at your house?
Oh, James.
What did you say again?
After we spent all that time talking like Albert Finney, Gorley texted me last night that he started watching Foster Brooks clips online.
I did over and over. My God. I think he's the only comedian that has done one character his entire life that I never
anyone
got.
listening who doesn't know who that is, who I probably imagine is actually a lot of people.
Yeah.
He was probably best known for his the Dean Martin roasts. He played a drunk character.
Well, that's it.
Better
right?
than anybody.
And it's broadly funny, but incredibly real. Just Google Foster Brooks and pilot, and there's a sketch with Dean Martin
Where he's an airline pilot.
Yeah.
I thought there was a Foster Brooks unaired pilot.
I wish.
It's a biopic.
I watched something too where he must have done it like around 2000, and because he lived to 2003.
Oh shit!
Wow.
And he was
Because he looked old in those roasts.
Yeah, and he's still doing that same character. So funny.
Did you guys see? There was a thing on Reddit, completely unrelated. They showed the cast of Back to the Future.
Yes.
With their 30-year makeup from 85, so their 85 makeup,
wow.
and they showed them currently. And I've always said this about Tom, particularly Tom Wilson. They fucking nailed the makeup.
Yeah.
Like they look exactly like their characters
Really?
do. Yeah.
Is Tom Wilson Biff?
Yeah.
And he looks like that guy?
He looks Biff 1985 Biff looks like Tom Wilson now.
Is he bald?
No.
Wasn't he bald? I'm thinking of the
No.
like bad future one.
You're thinking of
It's like a comb over.
1985B? No, it's not a comb over. Is it a comb over?
I think it's thin. I don't know if it's a comb over.
Maybe.
Well, Tom lucked out. He has a great head of hair.
Oh, nice.
So that all worked out.
So does Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson, god damn it. She
has a great head of hair of Tom Wilson's hair.
She'd scalp any actor she worked with. She's part Chakaki.
Chakaki. I can't find this. So, guys, guess what? We're going to talk about Skyfall starting now.
Skyfall.
All right, so Skyfall, traditional cold open of the James Bond movie, which became a tradition after Goldfinger, which is the opening that is its own little adventure.
Wait, From Russia with Love has a cold open. The little maze, the mask pulling off mustache guy.
Yeah, but that's not James Bond on a fun cold open. Although I guess it's James Bond in disguise.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to argue semantics. But anyway.
Pick a side, Steve.
Steve?
Right, the right side.
Oh, nicely done. Okay, so we have... sorry, I got a text of Shaquille O'Neal. Don't worry about it.
Nice.
Now, some people had an issue with this film because it doesn't start with that classic gun barrel sequence, which none of the Daniel Craig ones have. But I would argue that this one gives you like a figurative one of those because he's not in focus. He comes forward in this like kind of hallway, and his eyes come into focus, and he pulls his gun out, and you get a taste of it in a realistic way, which I kind of liked.
Yeah, plus this movie, the way this movie ends is the way a James Bond movie should fucking start.
Right.
The movie ends with James Bond saying something to Moneypenny, going into M's office, and being handed a case file.
Yeah.
We were talking about this last night, that we both want the next movie to be Bond going into the office, getting a mission.
Yeah, and then leaving.
Getting some stank on his hang down.
Yeah, maybe bring back Sylvia Trench. Maybe have a little Sylvia Trench action.
You're talking after the opening, the cold opening.
Yeah. I want his cold opening to be. I want it to be completely unrelated to what's happening in the rest of the story. and I want it to happen, and I want the gun barrel to be there. Yeah. Now, the end, that's my problem. The end of Skyfall is the best, my favorite ending of a James Bond movie, because it's sort of saying to you guys, you two particularly, sorry about the way we did the other 3 movies.
My bad.
Here now, here's a taste of what you'll get in the next movie, which is going to be a James Bond movie that follows the formula we've all come to know and love.
Yeah.
Now, do you give them credit for sort of changing the formula over the years, or do you sort of go, that's not really what we're into this for?
Well, at times I think it's worked, but I will say, I'm going to say right now, Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig version,
good.
It's my favorite James Bond movie.
Mine too.
He's now my favorite James Bond, which is why I have such mixed feelings when I say I don't love this movie.
Yeah.
But I like where it leaves us.
Yeah. Well, let's okay, so we talked about the gun barrel. Let's now jump back to the beginning where we don't have a gun barrel. So here we are. We're following James Bond on a mission in Turkey, right?
Yeah.
So obviously the Grand Bazaar is going to play a fun role in that. Which we shall call the Grand Bazaar CG face replacement.
Oh, this is where I have a problem. Can I just take a minute? Because Casino Royale puts Bond in the real world and manages to deliver some real world humor that I think is really successful. Quantum of Solace goes too somber.
Yeah,
it doesn't do it well. This one wants both, but I don't think it always succeeds. So my thinking is, don't do a motorcycle chase across rooftops if you have to do face replacement, or don't because Bond has always been known
Steve,
for
it's pretty simple.
Stay with the realism of the motorcycle chase, but then don't do
CG looking faces or look like they're wearing digital masks and stuff. It just took me out. Also,
that didn't bother me at all.
Okay, this is bullshit. When they get on top of the train and there's just a chain laying there for a fight. You know,
I wrote that down too.
Yeah, it just
loose chain.
Yeah, it feels very Roger Moore Bond or old Bond, but not in the right way. And I think once you get to the point after the motorcycle chase when he does that thing off the bridge, which is awesome, and he lands on the train and there's that backhoe that rips it apart, and he does the thing with the cuffs, that works really well. But I don't know,
I'm all
CG,
for that. Yeah.
It just throws me.
Did you now? Here's another thing too. This movie starts with M in James's ear. Okay, and. I've come to find that this whole movie, James Bond is never really by himself.
Yeah,
he's always got something or someone in his ear.
Yeah, he's always got a sidekick, even when he gets to Scotland. And
there's someone in his. Oh, you mean in real life? There's someone there with him.
Yeah, he's just always got. It's like that last Indiana Jones movie.
With his father.
Jones doesn't do much. He doesn't do much himself. All these other people are doing things. He's just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah, now you're talking about The Last Crusade, right? We're not.
No, I'm talking
We're
about
ignoring
Crystal
Skull.
Geyser.
I'm talking about Indiana Jones and the Crystal Geyser.
I'd watch that.
Would have been better.
I'd watch that. Holy shit. Okay, so we don't know what's happened with this situation. James Bond is obviously he's got a very modern crime on his hands. He's looking for a hard drive. Which I also love that he picks up the computer, which clearly doesn't have a hard drive in it, and shakes it.
I didn't know.
She's like, "Are you sure the hard drive's missing?" And it's like torn apart. And he still lifts it up. It's like, "Yeah, I'm fucking sure."
And he goes over to Ronson and shakes him.
Yeah. Poor Ronson there with a bullet in his chest.
Very sad.
Now, chase ensues. Obviously, with Turkish Bazaar. You got Moneypenny driving a Land Rover. Obviously, we don't know it's Moneypenny yet. There's an Audi, a Land Rover, a Volkswagen, and all of them are almost said by name, which just makes me annoyed because of just the ridiculous amount of product placement
that Volkswagen
is in this movie.
Yeah, but that's always been James Bond. I mean, what's the earliest product placement?
I suppose Smirnoff.
Yeah,
that's in Dr. No. Very clear,
right?
And Red Stripe.
And they drink, Red Stripe and Bollinger. Don't they have a Bollinger, or is it Dom Perignon? It's Dom Perignon.
Dom Perignon,
yeah.
50, yeah.
No,
all right.
But that's just a class.
Don't worry about it. Okay, so the Grand Bazaar chase I thought was fun. I didn't have a huge problem with the CG.
Matt?
I didn't.
Okay, but...
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay.
Because I think they immediately make up for that with the fight on top of the train.
Which is great.
Which is fantastic. And they shot that with fucking Daniel Craig on top of that train moving 40 miles an hour.
I know. I got no complaints with that. That's awesome. So why couldn't they do Daniel Craig on a motorcycle? I think they could have done it.
I think he's a better skateboarder than he's a motorcyclist.
I don't know. It just really took me out of it because it looks so blurred, like a CG thing. And
now let's for a second, let's just talk about. Okay, so he's fighting this guy, trying to get this hard drive back. By the way, the hard drive looks nothing like any hard drive I've ever seen.
No,
it looks like a VIP pass to a Creed concert.
Yep, that's exactly what it looks like.
Bond, I need those Creed tickets.
My daughter's thinking of going Christian.
Oh, you're both blown up at the same time.
McConville is voxing us.
All right, so so he's trying to get that back.
Creed.
Moneypenny takes the position to take a shot to try and help James Bond out, and as we all know from I believe in the trailer, even.
Well, we should mention that he already gets shot by this assassin Patrice.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets shot in the shoulder.
Well, he's in the tractor.
Yeah, and the logistics of this gun wound is interesting because you see.
Tell me about it.
Well, you see him dig that bullet out later.
Yes.
But there's no mention of this Moneypenny bullet that puts him over the bridge.
Oh, went through him. He says that.
Does he?
Yeah.
When does he say that?
In the scene where they first meet back up with each other in MI6.
And what does he say?
Couple of ribs, no vital organs.
Okay.
So that would lead me to believe that high-powered rifle would have gone through him. Steve, what do you think about
I also thought the pistol bullet had gone through him
he's got a
because
blood mark,
there's blood on the back of his shoulder blade.
I guess because what he pulls out are kind of like shards and shrapnel.
Yeah.
And that gun is meant to kind of, the bullet dissipates a bit.
Yeah.
I guess. All right. We saved you, Skyfall.
By the way, how terrifying is it when Patrice gets out of the Audi and points that handgun at him with two fucking Tommy gun-sized
drum magazines. And has the most indifferent look on his face. Ever since the Bourne movies, your assassins have to have no
dead
expression.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bond does to a certain extent too. Like he'll throw his cell phone or his gun whenever he's done, and there's just no ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Lot of just unhappiness in this movie.
It's in vogue.
Not as much as Quantum of Solace, but
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Moneypenny takes the shot. Do you think that she should have done that?
Yeah, or we wouldn't have a movie.
Mm.
Well, she had to, right? I mean, she had to.
I don't know why she didn't just shoot him in the leg. Their legs were clearly separated. That's
tough. I liked it. I like this whole thing. I like it starts with him dying, basically.
The fall into the water is beautiful.
That is
they
crazy.
Can do this. This is what I'm saying. But they don't CG face replace.
But if he was on a motorcycle falling, it wouldn't
just
work.
Saying they could have shot it in such a way.
No, but that fall is very. You're
just
like
back flops into the
dead.
river.
Just down.
Worst posture.
Just down.
Gorley was really obsessed with people's postures
because Ray Fiennes has the best character posture. I'm certain he's chosen this posture for Mallory, where he puts his hands in his pockets and puts his shoulders back, and I just love it.
Gareth Mallory, our new M, we meet shortly after this. So, okay, when you're first seeing this movie, guys, when you first saw the movie and you see James Bond take that shot and then drop into the water, what are your thoughts?
Seen it in the trailer about 93 times.
Well, even if it wasn't in the trailer, he's not going to be dead because he's James Bond, and it's his movie.
The stakes are. I feel like the stakes are very low for that kind of a thing.
Yeah, it should have been more intense or something. I don't know.
Well, I think they did a great job of making it super intense, as far as like how they shot it and the fact that he falls in the water. So, and that shot of him going over the waterfall,
mannequin.
A beautiful mannequin.
Yeah.
That's the mannequin they should have put on the motorcycle.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad you're with me. I love the sequence. I love the whole idea of this sequence. The way it's executed, except for those minor details, is good. It really kicks you into the movie.
Okay, then we get to the Academy Award-winning song, Skyfall,
that's right,
by Adele.
Yeah.
Adele.
I'm a fan. I like it.
I like the song too.
Who directed this movie, by the way?
Sam Mendes.
Oh,
he's doing the next one too. In fact, they're postponing it a year, so he'll do it.
Which I think is ridiculous.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't think that you need Sam Mendes to do the next James Bond movie. I think there are enough people out there that can handle a James Bond movie.
I'm going to go into some deep territory here.
Oh boy, here we go.
Because
Steve, buckle in.
my issues with this movie
Steve's
are
already sleeping.
about the spy story. The characters and the execution of the film, the direction, I think is fantastic. But the actual spy story about being one step ahead of everything and planning getting caught, very Dark Knight. It's very obviously influenced by the Dark Knight. It doesn't work for me. But these two writers that have been writing these Bond films all the way since what? The World Is Not Enough?
Since The World Is Not Enough, yeah.
I
Purvis and Wade
suspect are the problem because I'm not a fan of any of these Brosnan movies. Then Casino Royale is amazing, but Paul Haggis works with them. Quantum of Solace is just okay, but Paul Haggis has said that the writer strike came along and he was able to do very little work on that.
Yeah, which that ended up getting sort of written by Daniel Craig and the director.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Skyfall comes along. John Logan works with Purvis and Wade. And I gather he's the one responsible for the good stuff in this movie, though it gets a little Aaron Sorkin.
This is very interesting. This is an interesting take.
They're gone next movie, and we will see what just John Logan is going to do.
Oh, you're shitting me.
No, they quit. Well, they moved on.
God, thank you.
And so now it's just John Logan. In fact, he's writing the next two, and I believe the treatments are already done for the next two, and he developed them with Sam Mendes. So I'm hoping that we're going to get something a little bit more.
Well, here's what I think. Here's what I think you do with that situation. You take your Sam Mendes and John Logan story, and you hand it to, I don't know, Martin Campbell.
Oh, he probably wouldn't come back. I'd love it though.
Martin Campbell, I think two of the better James Bond movies were directed by Martin Campbell. The best one,
Which one?
Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Great.
And Pierce Brosnan's first one, GoldenEye.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah,
of
I
Brosnan's.
love that.
Maybe they're going to sort of use Martin Campbell as the, okay, we have a new Bond.
Maybe.
Show him to the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope they do that. Martin Campbell, by the way.
The next Bond is a new.
No. It's two more. He's got
It
two
is
more,
Daniel Craig.
right? He's got two more movies.
Cool.
But Martin Campbell also directed The Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My bad. So bad.
This opening sequence of this movie, the credit montage.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it had to
good.
grow on me a little bit, but I'm a fan.
What is your favorite credit montage?
Christ?
And Steve, I want you thinking of an answer.
Well,
too.
I am absolutely in love with those Morris Binder ones. They're just the optical girls dancing around.
Yeah.
I know you can't really get away with that anymore, so it's
like The
it's
Spy
of
Who
its
Loved
time.
Me, kind of.
Yeah, those are just amazing. But I love Casino Royale. I love that playing card motif opening sequence.
Yeah, that's a little too computery for me, even.
Okay, I'm out of here.
All right.
I don't remember. I mean, I know the only one that I think even remotely sticks in my head is, for some reason, For Your Eyes Only.
Because Sheena Easton's like the first thing you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. That one's good. I'm gonna go ahead and take the contrarian standpoint on this.
You can go
Sure.
with Quantum of Solace.
No.
License to Kill.
No.
Beaver Jim.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
I don't remember that one.
I don't remember it either.
That's the one that's all X-ray.
Oh yeah, all right.
With
I don't remember it.
the bullets going in the Walther. I think that stuff's cool. I also enjoy that song quite a bit. I'm not ashamed to admit.
Who did that song?
Sheryl Crow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's what I'm going to say about that.
I love this opening titles when you get to that blood jellyfish thing.
Yeah, when you get to that
also,
sort of like, it looks like blood vessels.
But you know what I noticed? It's a callback or a call forward to the map of the tube on the computer screen.
Yeah.
And so he's using all sorts of imagery from the film. That skull with the tombstone teeth. Is
Matt
amazing.
really picked up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And,
We had to go back and look at it.
Yeah.
for instance, tell them your latest discovery from the Skyfall opening.
From the opening?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, your latest song discovery.
Oh.
The chair.
The chair. There's this brief flash during the bridge where there's a guy in a chair being tortured. His head's kind of tied back, and that's Silva being tortured by the Chinese guys.
You see what he does? This guy's amazing.
Oh, I'm the Rain Man of Bond.
He really is.
Yeah.
So okay, the movie then starts. Okay, so we're out of the credits. Beautiful Skyfall, great. You got a little nod to Gold, the man with the golden gun, with him shooting the mirrors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, you're a little bit of a Rain Man yourself.
That's why we found each other. So you have that. Then sort of the movie starts. Here's the big plot of the movie, Steve. Here's what's happening. There's a list for some reason.
Yep.
Someone decided to put a list out.
It's not really a bucket list, is it?
Yeah,
It's
it's just
a list of agents?
list of agents.
Doesn't
and
seem like a good idea.
yeah,
Do
it's
that,
a list
yeah.
of agents' real names.
Why would that exist?
their cover names and where they're embedded.
Yeah.
It's basically steal this.
It's
Should be just
it's the knock list. It's the list from Mission Impossible, the movie Mission
yeah.
Impossible.
Right.
It's exactly what
Yes.
Tom Cruise is looking
Yes.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a list of agents and where they're embedded.
right.
And the big plan of this Silva character, obviously the larger plan is for him to get revenge on M. But
Villain with a catchphrase.
but I think the list, as far as we don't know who this guy is, this guy's doing something terrible. His plan is to release things on YouTube.
Yep.
Basically.
His big plan
Without saying YouTube.
is to start his own YouTube channel
On
I think
the
it's
web.
Clearly, oh yeah, they say on the web. They don't say on YouTube. They say
true.
on the web. How intriguing did you find the initial plot?
That's the thing is I find it to be ordinary and unbelievable for how realistic this movie tries to be,
Right.
and I just don't feel like they fit.
So you don't think that a list of agents
That's fine.
would exist and then end up on a laptop in Turkey?
I didn't have a huge problem with that.
Yeah.
It's just not an exciting MacGuffin, and if you're gonna go just all of that thinking 80 steps ahead that Silva does, I just don't buy it, especially when he blows up the train and just happens to be in the right spot. It takes me out of the movie a little.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like to think that was a happy accident on his part, that he meant to
Maybe.
blow up that part of the wall, but
I don't know.
he didn't know there was a train coming. Okay, so James is on a beach having a good time while some shit's going down. Wolf Blitzer lets him know.
Yeah, but we're
there's a
forgetting
movie
the
happening.
goddamn CG scorpion on his hand. This would not have been CG
Oh, yeah.
in another Bond movie.
Yeah, I didn't know that was CG until
Really?
like the third or fourth time
Do I
watched
just have
it.
like a
You have a
an
CG detector.
I do. I have Wigdar and CG detector.
Wigdar.
Yeah.
Tell us about your Wigdar.
I can just tell if anybody's wearing a wig, hands down. Connery is wearing a wig except in the first two movies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But even more, I'm gifted.
I'm not impressed with your Wigdar so far.
Well, just throw anything at me. That's the thing. You got to test me.
Shatner.
Oh, come on. Wigged, of course.
You think that's a wig? I don't think it's a wig.
Oh, it's absolutely a wig.
I don't think it's a wig.
Absolutely. It's a good one.
Do you think William Shatner has a rug, Steve Agee?
I think so.
He's known to have a rug.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's one of those gerbil in the ass stories.
No, because look at the original Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so far great. I'm
But I
enjoying it
believe
right now, rewatching it all.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, that's great.
That's nice.
Oh my god, just got to The Enemy Within, which is not his best acting. But anyway,
we'll talk about
no,
this.
but I think like in Star Trek 4, he's swimming underneath the water with the whales.
That's okay.
His hair's moving freely.
I have a very good friend that has an unbelievable
Wigdar.
wig, and I've been in the ocean with him, and you still can't tell.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Paul F. Tompkins.
Paul F. Tompkins is unmistakably, wonderfully real, lush hair.
Just thick,
Yeah.
luscious hair. Steve, anything about from your point of view, anything bother you particularly about this movie?
Yeah, wiggy.
I'm up there with the plot, the list.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, oh, it's kind of lazy.
Yeah,
It felt
yeah.
really kind of like, let's just have all the agents be on a list, and it would be really damaging if somebody found, you know.
It feels like what they want to get at is this character story, which I think is really successful, but that they went, well, we don't need to worry about the rest. When if they would have fleshed that out a bit more and made it more realistic, they would have had a real winner.
I mean, they seemingly did have a winner. It made over $1 billion,
Yeah,
right? It made
yeah.
$1 billion.
It's in the top 10 highest grossing films. It's the highest grossing film ever in England.
Skyfall is?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It made a crazy
I know,
jump.
you wouldn't think, but
It
it's
made
crazy.
it made like Avengers money. Skyfall made Avengers
Because it was
money.
big here, but internationally, I think Bond is a lot bigger than he is here in the States, you know?
Well, I just feel like we're deprived because we don't get to see it, until 3 days
I
after
know.
England
It
gets
used to be we'd get it first.
Yeah. I know.
Boy, we have lost our status in the world.
Cubby broccoli.
In our Bond movies, we've lost our status.
Why'd you give it to Barbara? She moved everything out there.
I want to say one thing about coming into the title sequence. So Bond falls into the river, and you hear the like babbling of the river, and then it cuts to the rain in M's office, and that takes you into the title sequence. That's some nice stuff.
You
pretty good, huh?
Such a stony thing to say.
Didn't you reverse it? Doesn't it go the other way?
What? No?
Rain
Either
and
way,
then
guys,
babbling brook.
Let's hold hands.
All right. So okay, Skyfall. I think the world sort of was so ready to like this movie. I think part of it being Sam Mendes directing it.
Yeah.
Deakins shot the shit out of it.
Holy crap.
Beautiful.
It's the best looking Bond film, hands down. Maybe one of the better. He didn't win the Academy Award.
I was so stunned by that.
One?
The fucking Life of Pi, which is all done in a goddamn computer.
Yeah. That's no good.
Guys, let's just boycott the Oscars. We're not going ever, okay?
Let's boycott movies.
We're boycotting all movies.
This is the first Bond film shot digitally, too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the first movie I've ever seen.
This is amazing.
It's the only movie I've ever seen.
So my big complaint the last two James Bond movies has been no Q.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They did it. They brought him back.
And Moneypenny.
No Q. I didn't really care about there being no Moneypenny.
No,
I was not. Samantha Bond never appeared attractive to me. Samantha Bond is Moneypenny in the Brosnan.
I think because Moneypenny's not supposed to be... She's supposed to be attractive, but just sort of all-American English girl.
An all-American English girl. Daniel Craig, I feel like, looks bored through half of this movie.
Interesting.
I think he looks bored. I think Judi Dench puts on the fucking performance of a lifetime.
She's great.
She's so good in this movie.
So do you think that's the actor Daniel Craig or the character Daniel?
I think it's
Bond.
I think it's either really incredible acting.
I don't think he's phoning it in. I never get that sense. I think he's really into these.
I think it's just the script and the situations he's in don't call for a lot of acting.
He's supposed to be downtrodden and given up. You know, don't you think?
Did he give up? Yeah,
well, he did because he bailed. He was just drinking and taking pain pills and giving scorpions a hand ride.
So the only thing he wasn't hand ride,
a wrist ride.
Oh Jesus. The only thing, that's what he does normally. That's what he does in his normal everyday life.
I suppose.
Minus the scorpion situation.
I will say that scene where he does the word association thing with the psychotherapist, I think his acting in that is brilliant because he's so subtly, each time he gets a word, he's thinking, fuck, I got to play this game, and here's how I'm going to twist it to take the piss out of this guy.
Yeah.
It's so good. I think that's one of the best scenes in the movie. I'll just say it right here, guys.
Your favorite scene in the movie, Steve?
See you later, assholes. I love the ending, like the whole shootout at Skyfall was.
You liked the Home Alone ending?
Yeah, I loved it.
A lot of the internet was up in arms about the fact that it was the plot of Home Alone
and Straw Dogs. It feels weird at first, but it feels very different for a Bond film, but in a good way.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that's like change that. Good, but don't.
But there's so many nods to the 50-year history of James Bond that happen in this movie.
One too many.
And I think that they're so... I think when they're breaking this story, the writers, I think they got so excited about the possibility of putting him somewhere that would be like 1962, that they came up with this idea of let's put him in this house in the middle of Scotland with no help whatsoever.
But this is very Fleming. A lot of Fleming books end with him at the end of his rope, almost dying. There's a girl or someone with him that he's got to protect, and he has to just kill these people. There's no gimmick to it or technique.
Yes, but that works for me. That works for me in the exotic locations that Ian Fleming will set something.
You don't like Scottish Highlands?
Here's my problem with Scotland.
Yeah.
It's attached to England. His entire force is just sitting.
Can get out there.
25 minutes plane ride away.
Right.
Just
That's
like not doing anything.
Yeah.
Just waiting. No one's listening. For some reason, there is a time at MI6 when it's completely empty except for Q and Robertson.
Having a couple of Heinekens.
Yeah. Just hanging out. Just tossing back a couple of green beers.
This is also another problem with this film is that Mallory comes in and ostensibly says, let Bond do what he wants to do. I don't care that M's in grave danger.
Yeah.
We'll trust Bond because he gave him a little wink in the courtroom.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Bond is a trustworthy, he's an effective guy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look what happens in this movie. The whole thing is Silva wants to kill M.
Mm-hmm.
He succeeds.
Yeah.
A lot of people die.
Yeah.
The list still never gets recovered.
Right.
Everything's a failure.
Well, that's ironic.
Fails in this movie.
I've never really thought about it like that, but Silva literally succeeds in every point of his plan.
The only thing
he wants to die, M wants to die.
He just didn't get to watch her
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only.
That's the only thing.
But-
And he's just mildly frustrated at that as he's going out, but he still wins.
By the way, favorite death ever?
It's pretty good. I think I like Christopher Walken smiling as he goes off the bridge.
Yeah.
That little laugh. Like,
I don't know. That's very interesting that you say that. He's the most successful. We can't play our game. How would the Bond villain have succeeded?
because he basically
Because he
did.
succeeded.
Unless, I mean, you have to say he didn't want to just kill M. He wanted to meet her again first. So that's
Yeah.
how you justify him getting caught.
Yeah.
But once that happens,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know
There's
either.
some other thing I wrote down that he
Did they fuck?
didn't do.
Oh yeah, did they fuck?
Let's.
That's a great
it's time
game.
for Did They?
They fuck.
Moneypenny and James Bond. Did they fuck? Steve.
Yeah.
Matt.
Never thought they did until watching it this time, because when they're in the casino and she's just really grilling him in a way that like tells me something happened with them.
All right, guys. I
Yeah.
think hand job.
Oh yeah.
Only in the butt.
Because
She
he
didn't wanna
says
give it up.
he says it's amazing what you can do with an extra set of hands.
That's true.
So I'm thinking he just got a handy.
Or he gave it to her because also in Casino Royale he makes a finger banging joke. Remember?
He does.
What I
Yeah,
could do with my little finger.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Here, I wrote this down. Bond loses 2 homes. He's dead. They sell his MI6 sells his home and puts his shit into storage.
Right.
Then he loses his ancestral family manor
Yep.
in Scotland. M dies. Ronson, other field agents, Hussein, an innocent sex woman dies.
An innocent sex woman.
No sex woman
People-
is innocent.
Now, as a God-fearing Christian, I believe no sex woman is innocent.
Yeah.
People, all sorts of cops in the courtroom die. People probably in the tube. There's a huge explosion in the tube.
Yeah.
There's a lot, there's some major collateral damage for no real gain in this movie, which I think is an interesting take, but I also feel like that wasn't what they intended to do with this movie. That just got left by the wayside because they didn't care much about the spy story of it all.
So you're saying the collateral damage in this movie, much like the you guys both see Man of Steel.
Yeah.
No.
There's a lot of collateral damage in that too,
Right.
Yeah.
just buildings and
Yeah,
stuff
but
like
that's
that.
a little bit more obvious.
Right, but you never really think about the collateral damage in a James Bond movie for some
No.
reason. I think he's usually more precise.
You're not intended to either, but when a movie puts it into such a realistic spectrum like this,
Yeah.
I start thinking about it.
What do you think that is with movies that are just trying now to be so grounded in reality? Do you think that it's like after 9/11, the world is like, well, we can take this. Now we can
makes
take
sense. I mean, I love that about Casino Royale, but I think you can go too far, and I think this one has a tougher time with it. Because they also go into, like, jumping on Komodo dragons and a couple
Which
of
I loved.
one-liners. Yeah, I like that.
I
I like the
loved
Komodo dragon.
the Komodo
because
dragon
it
situation.
felt classic Bond in a good way.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt very Roger Moore-y.
Yeah.
And that look that James gives the camera, that Daniel Craig gives
Yeah.
that just look of surprise. And also when he's trying to point out the Komodo dragon to the henchman.
Yeah.
I just thought that was
funny.
such a Roger Moore-esque thing to do, which I appreciated quite a bit.
Yeah.
And the so that whole scene at the casino in Macau. I assume it's Macau.
This looks
It
beautiful.
is.
I love it. I love it.
It's shot beautifully. I also the conversation between sex woman and James.
I think this may be my actual favorite scene.
Oh, now you're changing it?
Well, I never said that was my favorite, you guys.
You said one of.
Right.
All right.
One of them.
Fine.
Thanks, man.
So your favorite. So one of your other favorite scenes.
Oh no, you said it might be my favorite.
Yeah, it
Right.
might be until I reveal that this one is.
I like the way you think, Matt Gorley.
I think that Berenice Marlowe, is
Yep.
her name. I think she's underrated in this movie. She doesn't get mentioned much, and I think she plays exactly what he's picking up very well. So much so that you recognize it, but you don't really think anything about it. Then when he says it, you go, yeah, she is really afraid right now. I thought she did a wonderful job.
You think it's a Logan scene?
Yeah, I'm almost positive because there are these, you know how they have the action set pieces throughout the movie? They have these Aaron Sorkin-esque scenes throughout the movie. So the first one is probably the word association, then Q in the museum, and then sex woman.
Yeah.
And then...
sex woman.
There's another one. I can't remember what it is. But when I say Sorkin, I mean, the way I think of Sorkin dialogue is like the newsroom is, that's an exchange that would only happen if every character had 2 days to think about, I wish I would have said this.
Yes.
And so it's a little too glib, it's a little
exactly
too polished.
Right.
But this one's a little bit more subtle in this movie, and I like it.
What I always say about the newsroom is it's like you get to find out what Aaron Sorkin thinks about current events without having to do cocaine with him.
Yeah,
which is the better choice, I think.
So yeah, no, I like this. I like the dialogue in this movie.
Yeah,
and you think about it too, which is something I had never thought about until I read an interview with Daniel Craig. Might have been the Rolling Stone piece, but I never thought about how little James Bond ever says.
Yeah. I think the dialogue works in this film also is a huge credit to the actors. They underplay it. They make it believable. I think in a lesser actor's hands, it would seem a little too much.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
You don't think Pierce Brosnan could have handled this movie?
I don't. As you know, I'm not a huge Pierce Brosnan fan.
Timothy Dalton?
Yeah, maybe.
Dalton could have handled it. I think Dalton could have handled it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Dalton gets very dark. License to Kill gets very dark.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to that in a few weeks.
We'll get to that
with our special guest, Robert Davi. I'm trying to get him.
Fuck, dude.
Well, we'll talk about my Robert Davi story at some point. At least I'll save it for that podcast.
All right. So the other thing, too, okay. The Macau scene, I loved it. The Singapore...
Wait, we haven't even talked about the skyscraper fight.
That's what I was just going to talk about. Yeah. The
apologize.
skyscraper fight.
Awesome.
My favorite
let's
scene
talk
in
about
the movie.
that.
Wait a minute.
one of Matt's favorite scenes in the movie.
For a movie I hated, I sure loved it. I didn't hate it.
Okay, so this is James fresh off of a month or so in the islands, fucking and drinking and scorpion hand jobbing.
Failed his agency equivalency test.
Yeah, hard style.
Didn't know it.
Could not. Do you really? I don't know that I would ever believe that James Bond would be that bad a shot.
The only physically maybe because he's got that shoulder wound and he can't. But that's the other thing. He pulls that bullet out, and there are 3 people in the world that use this bullet. Come on,
Purvis.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
We gotta get to the bottom of that. We really do.
I wish we could know.
But so that scene on top of that skyscraper. First of all, the elevator, him jumping on that elevator.
Yeah,
the way they shot that and did that was so. For me, that was so tense and so perfect.
Parkoured his ass right up to the bottom of that moving elevator.
Sure did. That's and so there, I think, is some green screening and some CG that works.
Oh, you're shitting me.
No, I am.
It worked?
Why was it one shot from his face to him running and jumping on that?
No, but just the shot of him holding on from shooting from above and the ground below. It works. It's believable. It's real.
Now, I like Patrice quite a bit.
Yeah, I think he's good.
Patrice, seemingly to me, I think of him when I watch the movie. I think of him as the bad guy's James Bond.
He's Numi Rapace's ex-husband, the girl with the dragon tattoo. The original.
No way.
Yeah, his name is Ula Rapace.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la Rapace.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la. Right, so the intricacies of that fucking shot, that whole scene looked incredibly complicated to A, shoot, B, edit.
You're talking about the silhouette fight?
The silhouette fight with the giant video screens in the background, the jellyfish. We'll just call it the jellyfish fight.
It's all one shot, slowly zooming in. The guy's about to fall out. He pulls him back up by his gun.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's really
top notch. We give A+ to that fight.
Oh,
we're gonna grade these fights, okay?
I like the silhouette fights.
A+ to that fight. I wrote it down. Yeah. We're giving
good.
We're giving that fight an A+.
It's a fight ballet, you guys.
Ballet.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you think that Silva? Silva, the man with the plan.
We haven't met him.
Thinks 55,000 steps ahead of everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was his plan for James Bond to enter the story at that point?
No, I don't. I don't think he ever planned for him to enter.
Really?
I think only when he comes to the island does he factor him in.
I disagree.
Well, this is over.
Because he has his test results. He has his photograph pulled up on the computer. He has information about him. Granted, it might be a long boat ride, and it takes him no time to
I think
do
it's
that.
it's as simple as when they come to the island, and he goes, "Who do we got here?" It's this James Bond character. All right, let me bring it up in my penthouse apartment on this abandoned island, and then I'll come down the elevator when I'm done.
I'll deliver
and do the
a
longest
very
walking
long
monologue ever.
Yeah.
That's Sorkin-esque.
We talked about this. This set was built with the size in mind that he could deliver that monologue in one take and walk from elevator to Bond.
Which he does.
I think they should have made the set longer, though, so he could have walked faster.
He's shuffling.
He's literally shuffling.
Boop, boop.
Bop, bop, bop.
Instead of Bond. I do love that he calls him Mr. Bond. That's very classic Bond. Do that?
Eat the coconut.
It is weird, though, that a fellow agent would call him Mr. Bond though, instead of
Yeah, that's true.
007.
Also, by the way, they semi-established the fact that agents get their names changed by the fact that he's Silvio and he's actually Tiago Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah.
But we know now that that's not the case with Bond. Some people have this question, is Bond just a code name that a new person takes for 007?
Right.
Though they kind of make it seem that way on Her Majesty's Secret Service, because he goes, I bet this never happened to the other fella. But that was just more breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, that was the worst moment in the history of James Bond?
Probably.
Yeah.
But no, James Bond is a man named James Bond, who is Agent 007. Fuckers.
Thanks for clarifying.
James Bond visits his wife's grave in
For Your Eyes
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah.
His wife, of course, James Bond's wife, born in 1939.
Jesus.
Wow.
He was 30 when he married her, but she was 68.
So there's a lot of floating timeline, a la the Simpsons situation happening there. Every time he imagines his childhood, it's either the 70s, the 80s, the grunge era.
Yeah.
That's when Marge and Homer met, whenever it's appropriate for the kids to be 10 years old. So we're coming into the area because Marge, this is totally unrelated. This is a Simpsons discussion right now. If you think about the fact that Marge is pregnant when they get married, right?
Yeah.
So they seemingly date for let's say they date for a year before that. Okay. That means that now if the Simpsons flashback, they are flashing back to 2002.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Everybody sit on that. Think about that for a little while. Bart was born after 9/11.
Jesus.
Okay, so that fight scene is fantastic. The training montage let's talk about new MI6. Let's talk about
the underground,
the Avengers music cue, followed by the reveal of underground MI6. Okay. What am I supposed to be feeling as an audience member at that point? The grandeur with which they reveal.
Just a room with people working.
I never thought about it that way.
It was weird.
The music you think is
I think it was a weird music cue, yeah.
This will segue me into, I'm not a fan of the score. I feel like it's way too influenced by Hans Zimmer and that that rhythmic type of thing. And I always think of Bond things as very melodic. I just love John Barry.
Do you think they wanted Chris Nolan to direct this and they just settled for Sam Mendes?
I know they want him, but I'm not necessarily. But I know Sam Mendes loves Thomas Newman, and I normally do too.
Yeah.
But I think, obviously, Sam Mendes brought in Newman with him, but I think David Arnold is a better Bond composer.
I don't know if I can agree with this.
Well,
actually, yeah, giving the one example we have right now of Thomas Newman, I can
not
agree
bad.
with that.
It just doesn't feel very Bond. It only feels Bond when he goes into the orchestrated kind of melodic stuff, like he works Skyfall in at one point.
Yeah.
But I love the Bond movies where the composer works with the person that does the song so that the theme of the song gets worked in, like View to Kill and stuff.
Yeah.
And you only get it briefly in here because whenever they finish the song, he was probably mostly done with the score.
Yeah.
And could only get it in once. But we live on, man.
Yeah.
We live on.
So we go to MI6 where James is being reevaluated. There is a random old English gentleman with a clipboard that does nothing
Just
except stand
stare.
in the same
Told
spot.
you I have a theory about this.
Go ahead.
In like 3 of the Roger Moore films, when he goes to Q's lab, there's I can't remember a character name, but they name check him at one point, and he's played by Jeremy Bulloch, the guy that plays Boba Fett. And this guy looks like that guy, and I think they're going back a little.
I think the character's name is Mike. Mike Briville.
Like Bribble.
Briville.
Yeah, I think, honest to God, I think that character's name is Mike Briville. This is an old proper British man named Mike Briville.
And of course, he's our head of ballistics, Mike Breville.
Not even Michael, just Mike
Is
with a Y.
No British person has ever been named Mike.
parents conceived me on a trip to Alabama.
State your name for the court, please. My name is Briville. First name, please.
Mike.
Oh, God.
Do I have to say my first name?
It's Michael Briville. No, it's
actually
Mike.
Just Mike.
Can I see your birth certificate?
Yes, you may.
Oh, look at yes, it is. Absolutely.
Mike Brittle. Thank you and good day. So MI6, we're seeing James Bond not quite up to what he has ahead of him.
He's in rough shape.
He's
Seen better days.
the bags under the bags under the bags
Yeah.
of his eyes.
He's getting an update from Tanner. This is this thing that I was trying to figure out last night. It's this dramatic device where you get an expositionary monologue that is continuous, but it is split up between scenes that are not continuous.
Did you figure out what it's called?
I don't. I will call it the Mike
Mike Bribble?
Mike Brimmel speech, the Brimhell speech.
I'm sure someone, if you're at
Yeah.
home and you're a
Tweet it in.
screenwriting student or a professional screenwriter and you know better than Matt and I, who actually write things for a living, please send us.
Yeah, an ongoing monologue that happens in different places, that continues in different places at different times.
Yeah, it's not a realistic.
It's like
convention.
a montage monologue.
Yeah.
but there's no break in the speech, but break in the action.
Yeah, it'd be like if you and I were talking and we left here and I said, so like I was saying before with...
Except you wouldn't even say so. Like I was saying, you would just continue right on,
Right.
like the next
Well,
sentence.
they've cut out. I feel like they've
Yeah.
cut out. So like I was saying.
Right.
So I says to M, I says... okay, M doesn't let James Bond... we're jumping sort of a little bit back and forth a bit. James Bond arriving in M's apartment.
John Barry's old apartment.
John Barry's old
That's where it
exterior.
was shot. Yeah.
Not the interior.
Okay.
Sorry. Why won't she let him stay?
Seriously, she's needlessly cold. I know it's a cruel to be kind sort of
Yeah.
thing. That's her thing.
Yeah.
But come on, lady.
Just let him crash
You're
on
the
the
one
couch.
that got him killed. You kind of owe him
Yeah.
that. You sold his home.
You sold his home. You, for some reason, didn't sell the £5 million Aston Martin.
Yeah. Well, they put his stuff into storage, they said.
Yeah.
Because I think they own the home or something. I don't know. But he clearly has mommy issues, which I like. Like, he really, really does want her approval. You can tell. That's kind of nice.
Is this whole story just about mommy issues? Is this
really is.
sort of like is James finally coping with the death of his mother?
Probably. I mean, it's been said that this movie doesn't really have a Bond girl, that M is kind of the Bond girl in this movie.
Oh, really? What happened to Sex Lady?
He's dry heaving.
Seems right. Even though we all said last night we'd fuck Judi Dench.
Yeah. at once.
But
Yeah.
just to say that
Yeah,
we would
just
had
like,
done it.
I mean, but you
No,
know.
you signed up.
I got thirds. So I really wanted to sting.
I call thirsty thirds.
So yeah, the larger, I guess, you know what? If we look at it like that, if we look at it like James is sort of the whole story is him dealing with the loss finally of his parents. After he dies, he can finally deal with his parents' death.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Are we giving the screenwriters more credit than they deserve?
Well, I think they're going for some lofty stuff, so I think it's fair.
Okay, let's break this down.
Okay.
James goes to the island where he encounters Silva for the first time. Mm-hmm. We see the very long walk and talk, and we meet what I think is one of the more likable and intriguing Bond villains we've seen in a long time, with maybe the worst plan.
But also is the most successful of any Bond villain ever.
Yeah.
They make short of Blofeld killing his wife.
Yeah.
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 I think this is a great performance.
I think he's really good, Javier Bardem, at everything I've ever seen him do. Mm-hmm. And this is no exception. And so we meet Sex Lady who's tied up outside.
Yeah. Severine.
Now, here's the thing. This guy, now Silva has seen James Bond's accuracy tests scores and then devises this plan, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no way he's going to do that with, best marksman on the force, James Bond, versus Silva in that. Or maybe he was just always going to shoot her.
I think so. I think he's going to punish her because she's now betrayed him. But also, this has been brought up before, but why does Bond wait till she's dead to kill all these guys?
Yeah. He could have done the same exact thing before she died.
I disagree.
State your case. State your name and state your case.
Before he fires the round, the gun is at his head. The guy has the gun pointed at his head. Once he fires the round, that is only done to make sure that he shoots towards that way and not shoot anybody else. That's why that's done. As soon as he shoots, Silva then shoots. The gentleman by that time has dropped his gun a bit.
I'm nothing if not a scientist, and you've proven to me empirically that's why.
Yeah.
We solved it here.
Way to go, everybody.
Nice work.
We did it.
Nice work.
And then we see the biggest flutter of James Bond theme music, which is when the helicopters arrive.
And also, he's got that little radio that, in this day and age, technology could just...
I don't remember. Is this the part where Matt's DVD player skipped over a bunch of shit?
Okay, that just doesn't seem like we need to talk about that.
I think we have to.
It just seems like when people are
I think
listening,
it's very
they don't
important.
need to know.
I think we missed 10 minutes
I
out
want
of
to
this.
say, I want to say that
like
your
an exaggeration.
I see we missed 10 minutes of the movie.
Your Blu-ray player, I feel like, deliberately skipped over some of the more important parts of this movie.
I don't know. I don't even remember this happening.
It definitely skipped in places where your interest is peaked and you're kind of like leaning forward.
Yes. What's going to happen? So the way that Steve...
3 times it happened.
The way that Steve and I were seeing this at Matt's house, it goes, James Bond takes the gun, shoots somebody, rolls... and then he's standing at the cell with Silva.
Yeah, that's back in England.
In my defense, though, it's not even a Blu-ray player. It's a Green-ray player.
You might want to look into a Blu-ray.
Yeah, you'll save
this is another... I'm kind of glad it skipped that part
because
another bad use of CG with all those helicopters.
Again.
There are 2 shots. One of them looks great.
This is like your Wigdar.
Well, and a lot of people think that Javier Bardem has a wig in this. He doesn't.
Again,
dyed hair.
Wigdar.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a wig to me. It does look like...
Well, you might have some Wigdar.
Dyed hair.
I will work with you.
Oh, thanks.
We'll see what we can
You
get
might
out
have
of
the potential. You're like an orphan. You make the best agents.
00 Annie.
Yeah.
What a run.
We had fun.
We had a good time.
So now,
sometime we should record that.
Yes.
His plot works and he gets taken back to MI6.
Where the movie falls apart.
Yeah. I mean, plot-wise, anyway.
So the Silva gets taken only to be taken. This is all part of his master plan.
Mm-hmm. I was bummed to see Sex Lady killed that scene. That scene in the casino made me think I knew she's the femme fatale. I had a feeling she wasn't going to make it. They usually don't. But I would have liked at least another scene with her.
Also, you shouldn't really have like a containment or a prison cell that's controlled by computer.
No. Yeah, or
like
at least both.
An alternate backup lock in case shit happens.
They were putting their time into glass fogging technology. The one thing that bothers me, and it's in almost...
Did you detect that CG?
But that looks good. That's fine.
All right.
Because it's not... It's that uncanny valley thing, that faces are hard to do and expressions and stuff. That's what CG's made for. It's the elevator scene. It's the glass fogging. It's perfect for a Bond film. But computer readouts still to this day in movies bother this... Oh, God. It's so designed and...
So not since...
the net.
Not since Jurassic Park's Linux situation.
I think that's the way to go because it's still what everybody's using, And you walk into MI6, they're going to have some of the least aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, they're using Windows 98 or Windows NT.
Yeah, it's just... And plus all the little chirping and everything, and I'm ready for that to be done.
Yeah. So did you have a problem with the stuff in Quantum of Solace with the table? Like the Microsoft Surface?
I honestly feel like if you're going to do it, go that far and make it like an aesthetic Apple Smart thing.
Yeah.
That to me made sense because also tactically you could see
I don't remember the table.
They had a table like at MI6 that was like an iPhone and they could take things and drag it, but it was all like screen touch things.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was designed by some
Do you have a problem with
the
Tony Stark Iron Man, the shit like just in front of his face that he can wave away with his hand?
I don't because of the... Well, as far as the Tony Stark thing is, there's a farcical element to the Avengers stuff. That they're saying, I think what they're saying is technology is a little bit further ahead in this universe, and so this maybe is plausible.
Yeah.
But I mean, it did get the Guy Pearce rolling out his balls situation.
What?
Yeah, Guy Pearce rolled out his balls, and then he's inside the universe, and then he's inside the brain.
Oh,
that's
right,
showing.
Right. Yeah. Guy's universe balls.
Which we see. That's the same kind of thing we see in The World Is Not Enough.
Oh,
remember that one thing I like about The World Is Not Enough?
I know it's a favorite of yours.
Is no, it's not. I think it's a terrible movie.
Yeah,
but I'm saying one thing I like about it is the when they fall back. When MI6 falls back to the Scotland location.
Yeah, I do too, because there's a big giant plaid rug.
And there's also a giant painting of Bernard Lee.
That's right, yeah.
I did like that quite a bit. But anyway, back to this movie.
Okay.
Silva leaves his laptop with them, so Dumb Kid plugs it into their network.
Yeah, and I like Ben Whishaw. I think he's a great Q. I like where they're going with it. But Bond starts with adverse relationships with M, Moneypenny, and Q in this movie, and by the end, they are fast friends.
The only one that he seems to get along with the entire time is Tanner.
Tanner, yeah, because Tanner just wants to be liked.
Tanner's that needy, you think?
I think even just the actors, I don't know how long they're going to keep me in these things.
Yeah.
There's no precedent for me. I was in Quantum of Solace, and somehow I got made in the second one.
Right.
But it's because Sam Mendes knows him from theater. In fact... He played Hamlet. I don't know if it was at the RSC. So did Ben Whishaw, and so did Ralph Fiennes. There are 3 Hamlets, 3 classic Hamlets
Jesus
in this
Christ.
movie. Yeah.
But Tanner is in all of the Brosnan movies too, or
the
2 of them.
He's a black man.
Nope, that's Robinson.
He's a Robinson black man.
Robinson is a black man. Tanner is a white guy with white hair.
Wig.
Nope.
Well, you
but you'd have to tell me.
You don't know.
You would have to tell me that.
Yeah, Matt.
A little spatula you got going on. Right?
It's a weed tool. Don't worry about it.
You'll learn. Yeah. So this is where the movie falls apart, where everything starts to sort of go his way.
You also see Silva's grotesque deformity, which I think also is a CG problem. They should have. Just for style's sake, done a Hitchcock thing where you only get a suggestion of it would have been a lot more frightening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is...
I would have enjoyed that,
too. A little eye-rolling moment when he takes out his teeth.
Yeah,
but it's very CG.
But yeah, if instead of that, if you maybe had done a cut away to the apparatus that he keeps in his mouth.
That and then the back silhouette of how his jaw just kind of falls down. Yeah.
And then Tanner puking.
It just starts jerking off.
Yes, Mom. Saying yes, Mom the entire time.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom.
What is this the first time they're calling her Mom?
No, in Casino Royale. And Quantum of Solace.
But in the Brosnan ones, does he call her Mom?
Oh, I don't think so.
Right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Is that the appropriate thing? Like, you can't say sir to a lady, you have to say...
I think mum is the correct.
Is it?
I think.
Like instead of ma'am?
Yeah.
Oh, I always thought it was like an endearment, like just a MI6.
No, I think it's
thing.
an official.
Oh. Like the Queen Mum, huh?
Yeah.
Christ.
Who says that?
Bill.
Oh, I guess they do say the Queen Mum.
Mike Brimmel does.
Brivel.
Mike Brivel.
Mike Brivel, not Mike
I
Brimmel.
gotta write that down.
Yeah, so then we sort of see that in the room full of computer geniuses, the only one to read the word Granborough
Yeah.
Bond.
is James Bond.
It's the only sleuthing Bond does. And he goes through the tubes with Q in his ear again. He's got someone else in his ear.
Yeah.
And Q is giving him a hard time the entire time.
Yeah.
Saying like,
Yeah.
oh, you wouldn't know what it's like to ride on the subway.
being
but
so
he's
condescending.
so smug and
Yeah.
condescending.
Also takes quite a long time to tell him to get on that train.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way too long.
Don't get on. Wait, get off. Wait.
Bond?
Just don't.
Get on the train.
Yeah.
And then it's Cameo City from all of Sam Mendes' theater buddies.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
We won't get home in a hurry, huh?
So Q knows that Silva is dressed as a cop and doesn't alert the hundreds of cops that are now alerted in the tube station
Right.
to look for a cop that they
Right.
don't recognize.
Correct.
Who's this guy who's allowed to grow his hair a little longer than we are?
Yeah.
And
who-
it's bleached blonde. Yellowish blonde.
So this apparently leads us to believe that Silva would know that the hearing was scheduled.
Yes.
Silva would know where the hearing was scheduled.
Right.
Silva would know that it would take roughly this amount of time for Ben to plug on in my computer. It would take this amount of time for them to start going through it. Then the doors would open. Then this train would be passing by at this specific time for me to...
Not the bad, James.
Not bad.
for a physical wreck.
This is where they're going for a Dark Knight type of thing, and they don't do it as well.
Correct.
Now,
Correct.
It is Nolan himself has said that his movies are very Bond inspired. The big layer at the end of Inception, the plane getting grabbed in the beginning of Dark Knight Rises, those are all Bond things.
Yeah.
So, but also people really, whether they accuse or they just say that Skyfall is very heavily influenced by Dark Knight, I think they kind of deserve it because Nolan really loves and takes from Bond.
They're all
So
influenced by
it's
each other.
full
Yeah.
circle, yeah.
Yeah. But that is the sort of moment where I think the suspension of disbelief leaves.
Yeah.
With the moment he does the whole little, I'm going to get you back by saying that thing about radios that you said to me back when Matt's DVD player skipped.
It never did. It never did. Never once.
So that happens. And then his plan is essentially, okay, here's the deal. You're Silva. Your plan is to go into a courthouse shooting. Why do you take a Glock with you? Why not take any other high capacity
A double
rifle?
drum
A double
magazine.
drum magazine
Right.
pistol would be great. Maybe an A15 or something like that. Why not take something larger in?
Good point.
Because you're going in you're as a cop, great, but you don't get a gun until you get in the car. Because police in England don't carry guns unless there's like this tactical forces there. Then they have guns.
I do like this shootout in the courtroom, though. It's pretty.
Yeah,
good.
that was cool.
Yeah.
I do like that too.
Yeah.
But right
You
now
can-
we're just talking about the feasibility of it.
Sorry. Let me know when I can talk about this.
What I'm saying is bring a high capacity rifle.
Yeah, I
in
think
there,
you're
get
right.
the job done.
Or if you're just out to kill M,
Yeah,
bring some bombs. You know,
sure.
he doesn't care about.
Yeah, what is
collateral
his?
damage.
Do you think his plan is always to get M to kill both of them?
No.
Because that's the only reason I have for
Because
him
I think
bringing
he
a Glock
he
in.
basically says that at the end, like, "Oh, of course, it had to be this way."
Yeah.
But that scene, this is where I think Sam Mendes is not only a good director, but I think he's a pretty good action director with that scene in the skyscraper, the silhouette, the jellyfish
Yes.
scene.
It's great.
This one, he manages to build character stuff into an action scene. So Mallory takes the bullet. Bond winks at him. That's where they first share that they're going to be good working together. He gets Moneypenny in on it, and they all kind of collaborate and work as a team. See, I like that kind of thing,
Yeah.
but it's a well done scene.
You liked James Bond working with his friends.
I do.
Working with other people that are on his
but
side.
I like
that
him
have
to
guns.
be in control and calling the shots, not listening to him.
Gorley's a big fan of teamwork.
Sure.
I sure am. Like right now, guys, not one of us is doing a podcast on our own.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
None of us are Bill Burr. We can't just
Bonding.
We can't just talk.
There are three of us with a fourth mic, like
ready
Elijah
to
at
go.
the table. But this is
That mic
for
is hot.
Mike
I don't know
Brimmel.
why I turned it up. I just did. I wanted the fan to sound a little louder than
Room
normal.
tone.
Everyone quiet for some room tone?
So then Bond takes M to Scotland, back in time.
Bond, let's talk
Skyfall.
about M being led by Tanner into the Jaguar
Yeah.
and Tanner not looking in the driver's seat and Tanner watching his sole job disappear in front of him. His reaction, nowhere near it should have been.
No,
it should have been.
Should have been like, fuck, no!
It's
Yes.
the feeling like he's thinking of demerits or
Yeah, he's like-
disciplinary action.
He should have shot himself, actually.
Like no, here's the ADR dialogue for Tanner when that happens. Oh cock. That's it. That's his
Bollocks.
that's his reaction. So M's 100% on board to buckle up in the back seat and have a good time with Jimbo.
Good use of the Bond theme here,
Right.
I think.
His problem with the Jaguar is it can be tracked. Then he wants them to track to Scotland. So his problem is that the car can be tracked, so we have to ditch it and get the Aston Martin. Then he requests that Q tracks him up to Scotland. Explain that to me.
I cannot. I can
can't.
explain it. It's we want the Aston Martin in here. We want an this is where it starts having too much, wanting it two ways.
Yeah.
Like we want to get the classic Aston Martin in, and then they start pulling things like the ejector seat. I was all for the classic Aston Martin because he got it in Casino Royale, but in that time he had an ejector seat installed.
Here's
It just feels
here's
too
where I came
fantastic.
from with that.
Yeah.
Looking at the grand history of the James Bond movies, I think that in Casino Royale, we're seeing the beginning of James Bond, and that's just an Aston Martin he happens to win playing cards. Great. And then I think we look at something like Goldfinger, which is in the midst of James Bond's career, and he's given this amazing car by Q. Then we always, whenever we see James Bond driving his personal car, it's the DB5. From there on out, it's the DB5. So I like to think that Q gave him that some years ago, and he's kept it ever since as his personal car. Like he ended up buying it from MI6 and was like, guys, I'll just.
What's the Casino
Here's the
Royale
check.
one then?
That's just the Aston Martin the other guy happens to have that he wins.
And so he has two?
I think he had to. He probably left it in England.
Oh, Matt.
I mean, in the
Matt.
Bermuda.
I think a more
buy that.
likely story is, can you soup this up for me, Q? I got this baby.
You think
sitting
that's
in
a more likely story?
Oh, yeah,
Can
I
you
know.
soup this up with these ancient machine guns?
Can you pimp my ride exhibit?
What a great deleted
Exhibit
scene.
should be cute.
What a great deleted scene.
What's up, dog?
X to the Z exhibit.
Anyway, they go to Scotland. They do a nice little tender scene in this foggy Scottish Highlands. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
beautifully shot.
But it is a little expositionary.
I was genuinely thrilled when he opened that door and the Aston Martin was there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
nice.
that was cool.
That little speech or little scene they have in the Highlands where he basically goes, the story to that. Feels a little like sloppy exposition of we need to remind the audience that you are an orphan.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
why would they be saying that to
right.
each other? But
Why would she say?
I do have a pet
How old
peeve
were you
of
when they
bad,
died?
bad exposition. Like, what's the Karate Kid movie with Hilary Swank? It's like the fourth one
Karate
or
Kid
something.
4, yeah.
And it begins
The new
with her
Karate Kid.
grandma going, well, your parents died in a car accident, so the audience knows. You would never say that to your grandkid who already knows that her parents are dead.
I've already been a bad grandfather.
Oh,
Really?
You know your parents died in that car
Matt's a
accident.
grandfather.
Is that plausible? I guess.
How old are you?
30.
Wow.
you
I
were
don't
just
know.
at his birthday party.
That's true. But he didn't ask how old I
true.
was.
Yeah, there weren't.
Yeah, we didn't have like a
wasn't a cake
30
with a 30
streamer
on it.
around it, Yeah.
Jesus.
Steve, you get a
Gorley.
pass. Gorley, what the fuck? Come on. He's our
Hey.
guest.
I'm sorry.
Come on. Come on, girl.
Speaking of, we
Yeah,
get to
so
Scotland.
the the acknowledgement, and this is something I genuinely loved. I genuinely loved the acknowledgement that, yes, this is the car with the ejector seat and the machine guns. I was excited by that, and I enjoyed that.
I love it.
Disjointed. All right. Well, okay.
Why did that feel disjointed to you? I don't understand.
It just felt like we're jarring us out of this world. They're going so far to create a realistic world, and then they're putting it like shoving you back into
timeline shifting.
Yeah, it just was disjointed.
Now, what do you think about the my hypothesis that James Bond is actually just a Time Lord?
I think you got a screw loose, you guy.
James Bond is a Time Lord. Here's what I'm saying. He's a Time Lord that instead of floating around the galaxy helping people out, he stays in England. And every time he gets killed, he regenerates. And he regenerates into sometimes people that are older than him, sometimes people that are younger than him, sometimes blondes.
Well, we never see him get killed.
Well, that all happens off camera.
I see. Then, okay, then I'm in.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
He shows up to his ancestral home, Skyfall. This is where we get the name. I did not like this title when it was announced. I saw the movie, and now I really like the title.
Ironic that this is the second James Bond movie to be named after a home.
GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm glad we...
Also, A-Frame Ranch, which is a lesser-known Bond film.
A-Frame Ranch.
Oh, fuck. I would pay money for a James Bond Western. Oh my god! Oh my god! I would love it if he had to go undercover at some rodeo.
Rodeo.
So he gets to.
Where's the list of rodeo riders, Bond?
My name's Mike.
It was on that hard drive. Get it?
It's in Montana.
Mike Briscoe's come to town, or whatever the shit his name is.
So,
didn't you write it down?
Mike Breville.
Page.
Mike Breville. We meet James Bond's caretaker, surrogate father, and lover of fine Emmas.
Kincaid. This just feels like, why have we never heard of this character before? It feels a little forced. I love Albert Finney, but why do we need another sidekick?
Why don't we need another sidekick?
There's a rumor that they, thought maybe Sean Connery might play this part. Have you ever heard this rumor?
I've heard that rumor,
and I'm glad that wasn't the case.
I'm fairly glad that wasn't the case too. That would completely remove any human being out of the movie.
Yeah.
But
I just don't.
It should have been Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, they happen to have a view screen, and they're like, let's pull up Spot Prime. Let's pull him up so we can ask him about the plot of this movie we're in.
Kincaid influences this plot in no way. He shows him to the gun camera.
Correct.
He kills a couple of people, but and there's no arc for Kincaid. We don't even know what happens to him at the end.
There is no arc for Kincaid. There is no change in Kincaid.
To him at the end?
Nothing.
Nothing happens.
He just comes out of a doorway, almost gets shot.
The end of the credits should just be him sweeping up in that destroyed fucking house.
And then a spotlight. You have to sweep up the spotlight. And is he presumably he's the gamekeeper of Skyfall?
Right. So Skyfall, I think, is obviously if it's not an ancestral home, it's a vacation home.
I think it is an ancestral home because he was born there and raised there until his parents died, and then he was sent to Eton.
Yeah, he was sent to boarding school.
Yeah.
Where he did a lot of eating pussy. You know what I mean?
Ooh, Eton. Sex lady.
Sex lady.
Sex lady. Sex lady.
No, for this podcast, we do not refer to the secondary bongos as femme fatales. They will be sex ladies.
Sex lady.
Innocent sex ladies.
Solange is the Casino Royale sex lady.
Right. So Solange, yes, she is the innocent. There's always an innocent sex lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too
Usually,
bad.
Yeah.
Unless it's Terry Hatcher. She had meaning.
Harry Thatcher.
Yeah, so here's the end of this movie is essentially Home Alone.
Yeah.
Which I didn't. I went to a screening of this movie a week before it came out, and my girlfriend Kiki turned to me and said, "This is just like Home Alone."
We talked about this. Matt and I first met on Attack of the Show, doing a Bond panel.
Yeah.
And we
talked about the fact that it was like Home Alone.
A lot of people have been making that connection.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either.
I don't have a problem with him getting the house ready. I just don't understand why. it just doesn't make... Tactically, it makes no sense for them to be in a valley. You know what I mean?
They're still putting themselves at a disadvantage. Just because they're making him come... It'd be one thing if they knew they were going to a place where they could lay an excellent trap. But they're going, like, let's go to a place where we have very little resources.
Yeah, you got time...
A lake on one side.
Yeah.
You remember that old saying from retail? You got time to lean, you got time to clean.
Sure.
If you got time to talk about your dead parents in a foggy abyss, you got time to stop at a fucking gun shop.
And take a piss. It had to rhyme.
There you go.
Yeah, no kidding.
Problem number 1,000.
There's no reason MI6 can't come with him.
No,
if they're
there's
laying a
literally
trap.
no reason. There's absolutely no reason that you can't be like, Tanner, can you send like, I don't know, 20 guys?
Like 001 through 23.
Yeah. Could you just give me the 3 guys that are outside guarding the gate right now with the high-powered rifles?
Hey, or, hey, can you just call the guys on that list?
Oh, yeah, remember this
That's
list?
the other thing, too. M should have pulled everybody out.
Yeah. Hey, you guys might want to start hiding.
Yeah, hey, guys.
They know who you
just
are.
come back to England, thanks.
But-
that's it.
So Silva also, somewhere nearby in the Scottish Highlands, has access to a military gunship helicopter. Because what's the range on a helicopter? It can't be that far.
I don't know. They can go pretty far, man.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
No, I think they can,
maybe
like, a
London.
military helicopter can probably do like a 900, 1,000 miles, something like that. Because they have big, big tanks.
All right, he got it in Iceland.
Yeah. He got it in Iceland. What do you think happened there? Do you think he just bought it? Do you think he stole it? What do you think he did?
Well, see, who brought up the day wage of these mercenaries?
Me.
that he's
I am just very
Myra
curious. Like, I really... Now, let's talk about this. First wave comes in. He's got waves of henchmen.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
first wave of henchmen comes in, and it's 5 guys with... Presumably, they also have flares attached to their
They
pants.
also seem like 1989 Tim Burton Batman Joker henchmen.
Yes,
Kind of
absolutely. Skull cap.
gaunt-looking
Yeah.
weird dudes.
Yeah. My question is the following. We work in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
We can talk about it. We can talk about a day rate. We can talk about what we expect. Say we go shoot something. We expect probably, about maybe $1,000, $2,000 if we're going to go do something, great. And that gets us out of bed, right?
And
Yeah.
we're not in harm's
We're not in
way.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We're not anywhere close to harm's way. And that's the sort of thing where that's the kind of money that we're like, oh fuck, I guess I'll drive to Santa Monica
Right.
at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. In full disclosure, I do some snuff films. But that's a different story.
And what's funny to us, I think what's funny, and I'll lay this out too, if someone says to us, come do this thing pretty far away, for an entire day,
Come to Scotland with me.
and we're paying $500, what is our reaction to this?
Fuck you.
Yep.
Wait, my reaction is, there's guns and someone's going to be shooting at me. I'm not doing this
I'll
for
go
$500.
work for Quantum for $6 million a
What
year.
I'm saying is we won't do a Raisin Bran commercial for $500 in Santa Monica.
Right.
These people are risking their lives for what amount of money? What is the day rate for a henchman? What is the amount of money?
$10,000.
You think it's $10,000?
I think it's $20,000 because also money isn't really an issue for Silva. He can
He can just print more money.
Click, Mr. Bomb.
I could influence the market. Boop. Boop.
Or do you think he's like, name your price? So some of them are like $10,000 and others are like $50,000. He's
It's
like,
not favored nation.
and then while they're driving over in the helicopter, the guy's like, man, I'm getting $50,000 for this.
What?
What?
Dude.
Yeah, I'm getting $50,000.
What? I'm getting $2,500.
Is that what you asked for?
Yeah, he said name your price.
Yeah, I asked for $50,000.
And he just gave it to you?
I got $600 and a gift card to Outback Steakhouse.
Whoa,
Why would
how
you do
much is
that?
the gift card?
$6 million.
Oh,
So I'm eating there for life. Feeling pretty stupid now, aren't
I
you?
really feel like I would turn that down if someone offered me a $6 million gift card to the Outback Steakhouse.
yeah.
I'd be like, can't we just give it to like a homeless person
Can I get
so they
the
can
cash
eat?
equivalent, sir?
Yes, the cash equivalent of a $6 million Outback gift card is $40.
I'll take it.
It's diabetes.
Give it to me, but I'm heading right to Outback. Because they're having a great deal on
I just can't
sliders.
help myself.
Can I put the tip on the card too?
They're having the Great Barrier Eats right now. It's all the crabs I could just possibly shake a crab leg at. You just
What do I do? do is I order 1 wallaby burger, and then 10 I take them home and freeze them, have some folks over, and we do a jump around dick sling.
And I just haven't even gotten to the bloomin' onion. We don't even have to mention that, right? It's just like their warm brown bread with that butter.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
Outback Steakhouse.
Boomerang,
I'm
come
loving
back.
it.
So will you. I was once up to be the spokesperson in the Outback Steakhouse campaign. Guess who got it? It was down to me and Jermaine.
Jermaine. Yeah. By the way, that is his read in that commercial is my favorite commercial read of all time.
Had to be him.
The read he does when he's talking about his mother's steak, and he just says, "Sorry, Mom. Not good enough." There's a pause he takes between talking about the steak and then his reaction to it.
Gorley, did you have to do it as an
Aussie?
Aussie?
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I remember being in the waiting room with him.
Oh,
this was pre-Flight of
Yeah,
Conchords.
it was. Yeah.
And I just this guy looks amazing. And there's no way.
That's what I said when I saw that commercial. I was like, that guy's too funny to just be in this commercial.
Yeah.
Which is what I would have said about you, too.
You're great. You're great. You want to hear my Australian accent?
Not at all.
Hello. Absolutely.
I don't know why they didn't go with you.
Outback Steakhouse. Kangaroo.
What
burger.
region of Australia is that from?
Old South Wales.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Can we have a conversation between Australian Matt Gorley and Albert Finney?
What do you want to go to get for dinner?
I want to get wallaby burgers and kangaroo skewers.
You want to get that again? I don't want that.
Hello, Andre the Giant.
Hello. Mike Bribble here.
Hey, Mike.
Hello,
Mr. Finney.
Hello.
Australian, tell us about the Outback Steakhouse.
There are boomerangs, didgeridoos, rabbit-proof fences.
You're just naming things from the Outback Steakhouse in Australia.
Hugh Jackman. Kangaroos have 3 vaginas. That's true. They also have 1 hole for feces, urine, sex, and birthing.
Urine?
Yes, hello.
Why am I sounding like the dude from fucking Silence of the Lambs?
She was a great big old fat girl, wasn't
like
she?
Andre the Giant.
You're sounding like a Red Letter Media review of Phantom Menace.
Well, we have not.
We had a really good time on this podcast. But so this ends. Okay, so Henchman again. Day rate. You guys are saying favorite nations.
Yeah, favorite nations $20,000.
Naming your price.
Yeah.
Up to $20,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
Covered it.
Done and done. And the beauty of Silva, working for Silva, is he just he asks you for your name and then he puts the money in your bank account.
Or he could also just say, "I'll give you $100,000 upon completion."
Probably.
Knowing these guys are going to get fucking killed.
He doesn't have to pay
It's
a single
genius.
one of them. Well, he doesn't get paid himself. Do you think he uses PayPal?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He was
man.
probably college roommates with Elon Musk.
All right. We're almost there.
We're in the home stretch.
Okay.
Home stretch. 4 hours later.
So they attack the house. There's some cool action
They
things.
attack the house. James Bond uses the machine guns on the Aston Martin.
I like that. Fair enough. I didn't
interesting.
Well, I didn't love it.
It was kind of risky getting in that car, knowing that those machine guns don't aim. You're just going to shoot forward, and you got one. You got about 2 seconds of shooting.
Assuming they're coming in the front door.
It's all bulletproof, though. Theoretically,
Yeah.
I think that's explained to James in the.
yeah.
Okay.
In GoldenEye, he's in a bulletproof car,
All right.
so I don't think there's really any real risk there.
He comes out with his shotgun and
But still, even if it's bulletproof, it shoots forward.
Right.
They step out of the way,
Yeah.
and now he's stuck in a bulletproof car. He's surrounded.
Which he could just.
I wish he would have turned
Oh,
over
yeah,
to
yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
See you later.
Ejected seat.
Yeah.
He comes back into the house and does a pretty cool soccer kick of a machine gun up into his hands. I
Yes.
love little things like that.
Yes, he does.
Daniel Craig is a way of making that believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kick. Yeah. He doesn't even bend over because he's not bending over.
And then
No.
out comes Albert Finney, for no reason does this mirror trick because he could have just shot them,
Yeah.
but instead stands there and waits for them to see him in the mirror.
Well, they set up the mirror too.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like he wants them to die with a twist. Like he wants them to feel like they've been.
I already kill with a twist. Guess who?
Emma, watch me kill him from a mirror.
Mirror, mirror on the floor.
Yeah. What did you say there again?
This is a priest hole.
Oh yeah. So then we learn
The day his parents died, he went down there. When he came out, he was a man.
But it also leads us to this lake battle where Deakins is at his best.
I wish it led us to Lake Bell.
Lake battle. Oh,
Deacon's at his best, you're saying.
it looks amazing.
You're saying
Are you going to go see that new movie by Lake Battle that opens tomorrow? In a
the new
world?
Lake Battle movie?
Yeah, scrape neck. Hello.
All right, continue.
All right, so then they go onto the lake.
With the lighting. Yeah, it is beautiful.
And
Yeah,
I like
that's great.
I'm not gonna argue
Frozen
with that.
Lake. I
beautiful.
like that. That's some good tension. That's nice.
Yeah, I really think the frozen lake is just a metaphor for his personality, and it's kind of thawing towards the end of this movie.
You've gone a little far now. And Kincaid and M just throwing a flashlight
Kincaid-
around out on the
yeah,
heath.
Kincaid
Just might
and
as
M.
well have a
Yeah,
flare.
they need no light because the
Yeah.
fucking house is lighting up all of Scotland.
The house is on fire. Kincaid has walked that path 85 billion times.
Right.
Yeah.
With a B. Since James left to go to Eton, all he's been doing is walking back and forth.
Also, why wouldn't you have just made that fucking tunnel go all the way to that chapel?
Or better yet, stay in the fucking tunnel. You don't have to go to the chapel. If you are looking for someone and you look around a heath and there's only one other building, that's where you're headed.
Yeah.
Just stay in the tunnel.
That's a good point.
Oh, fuck!
It's a good point.
But that
still
tunnel
be alive.
should have gone all the way to the
Yeah.
chapel.
Also,
right?
Yeah.
also, how does Albert Finney get around? There's no other vehicle
No other car.
at Skyfall.
Thank God you showed up. I was starving to death.
All I've got is a snowmobile and it's dry as cruise.
They left him a snowmobile.
In Scotland.
We got 2 inches of snow here. I tried to MacGyver it onto a skateboard and it didn't work.
I've got a pair of water skis. I've got a ski tube.
No fucking boat. The skis I can only go in the lake.
All right. There's a fight underwater and Bond goes,
Fight underwater. Bond grabs a flare. Bond does some flary shit. Gets up. Goes out. Goes to the chapel where Albert Finney has almost been shot at.
goes to the other room and comes back and says, "There's no." What was he looking for? A fire?
A blanket, maybe?
Another light? Another tunnel?
I thought there was another tunnel out here. We're fucked. I left my snowmobile at the house.
Yeah, he's looking for the keys to his snowmobile.
Normally there's a PlayStation up here.
It might skip a few on this Blu-ray.
You're into Ouija boards and all? Let's ask the devil if we're going to get out of this.
I've got a drawer full of edible undies, Emma, if you want to. All right.
Emma!
So Silva comes to town, and he gets this idea that he's going to kill the both of them, which is kind of creepy. And he wants her to do it.
And fantastic at the
Yeah,
same
it's
way.
a nice little time.
The same bullet.
Yeah. Of course, it had to be this way. And
Free both of us with the same bullet.
as you pointed out, Judi Dench is doing like this really subtle but great convincing thing where she's a strong woman, but she's very afraid.
Yeah.
She is so terrified.
Yeah,
in that
totally.
situation.
Yeah, it's so good.
Which is just I am hard pressed to think back to a movie, any movie, where I've seen someone convey that amount of fear.
Yeah, because she's doing nothing but
Yeah.
just staring at him.
Yeah.
What would you do? You all you could do is look at the fear because you
Yeah.
don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah,
Oh, she's good.
she's a dame. I'll tell you.
I got her poster up on my ceiling above my bed.
What does Amanda think about that?
She's the one that put it there.
Yeah, it's her poster.
And you're like, can we put the Revenge of the Jedi one back up?
I don't want that there. I don't want it up there. I got one of Richard.
She watches me when I sleep.
And then it leads
to the death of a beloved character.
So I don't like knife throws in movie because you can't really throw a knife. The chances of throwing a knife in someone's back and killing them, it's just
maybe he didn't throw it. Maybe he stabbed him in the back and then backed up 10 feet.
He ran back. I wish he would have just come in and just hand knifed him.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
it would have been better because I've tried many times to throw a knife at someone's back.
Oh.
I disagree with you on this.
Really?
Because I think he comes in, immediately assesses the situation and thinks about the time it would take for him to walk over and stab him in the back and the time it would take to throw it. And I think his goal in that situation is not to kill Silva per se, but to get that gun out of his hands.
Fair enough. But then it leads us to my least favorite thing in the entire film. Silva dies. Judi Dench is giving this amazing performance, and she says, "What bloody took you so long?" And he said, "I got into deep water." It's not the good time for a one-liner.
I disagree.
Oh, okay, I will fight you on this.
I disagree.
Also,
I think he was trying to take her mind off the fact that she's dying.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to
I think that
he doesn't know she's dying.
But here's what I think happened. I think he read the levity of her comment. I think that he did that. I think that this is now James Bond just sort of becoming James Bond. I think he read the levity of her comment, and I think he replied in a way that he has been known to reply to her before, in a way that makes him go, "It's okay now."
I agree.
I'm even more talking about filmmaking here. That it's not the time for levity.
Okay, that's weird, because we're talking about James Bond.
Okay. It's not the time for levity, especially because Daniel Craig seems so uncomfortable delivering this line. He's not great at the one-liners that are for pure comedy sake.
He's not great at the one-liner
character ones,
but I think I think that for that character, he comes in, kills Silva. He's like, "Fuck yeah, job well done.
We're done.
We're
fine.
good. Let's hang out." M says, "What took you so long?" He says, "Blah blah 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 blah."
All right,
because he turns on a dime. When he sees that she's actually hurt, he turns on a dime. His face drops. He turns on a dime. He runs over to her.
It's also just not a good one-liner.
Name a good James Bond one-liner.
Well, it's either going to be super corny or super clever, and it just isn't either, you know?
That's true.
So we're
Purvis?
agreed. We'll meet in the
Purvis?
middle. Oh, it's Wade. It's got Wade written all over it. I don't know, but yeah, I'll watch it differently next
Should have
time.
been a Thin Ice reference.
Yeah. I was on thin ice. They probably did a bunch of them. Where's the, Will Ferrell outtake reel?
Right.
All these...
It's all just...
Joke-O-Rama.
For some reason, John C. Reilly's there.
Okay. It is a tender scene, and as I said before, you're lucky if you have to do a crying scene when you're
Did you
soaking
cry?
wet. No.
Me either. Why? I didn't feel it. Did you, Steve?
No.
I have to admit, when I saw this the first time, I was in my head going I'm watching a James Bond movie I've been waiting forever for. I couldn't let go.
I kind of was in that boat too, and I felt for some reason I felt no emotion towards the M being killed off.
This is why the next one I am not going to watch anything online or I read too much. I didn't know she died. I knew M died, and I knew that she didn't die at that courthouse, so there was no real tension for me there.
Yeah,
and I knew there was the rumor of Moneypenny, and I knew Ralph Fiennes was going to be M. I just knew too much.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't
any
even
of that.
seek it out.
I didn't know any of that.
I was just figuring it out along the way.
Based on casting and stuff like that.
Based on the information I had read that wasn't spoilers, technically.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I'm not doing it again. I'll never make that mistake, America.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
We've already talked about the end of this movie.
But we can briefly again, we can say that it brings it full circle, and it sets us up for when we now should expect to be James Bond back to true James Bond formula.
Yeah. It's almost like at the end of Casino Royale, where he shoots the guy in the fucking leg, walks up to him over the gun, and says, James Bond.
That's
then
great.
what are we
That's so
given
great.
after that? We're given Quantum of Solace.
Is this the only ever trilogy reboot? It took a full trilogy?
It did. It really genuinely took 3 fucking movies to reboot this. And here's the thing too: if the world that we're supposed to believe is that it's James Bond and Daniel Craig has been James Bond for Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall, and we're ignoring the 22 missions in between that, if that's what we're doing, This guy, all the jokes about him being old and tired and haggard and stuff don't work.
No,
because he's not. Because
and he's got
like
2 more to go.
He's got he's a 40-year-old guy that's just really good at fucking being a spy,
and he's in great shape.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not in this movie, but like the character.
Physically,
he's still in good shape.
Yeah, he's
he beat
physically
the shit out of the guy in the jellyfish fight.
He's a blunt instrument. I'm a pilot. I vow to have.
Is that Mike Breville? Was that Mike Breville calling?
Mike's calling.
I vow to have an office one day with a double quilted door.
God damn it! That's really all our dreams, right?
Yeah,
we need a double leather quilted door.
Yeah.
Steve.
So Skyfall. Let it Skyfall.
Let the sky fall.
All right. Now here's a fun, interesting thing we can do. Of the last 2 movies we saw, Dr. No and Skyfall.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the better movie?
Well, taking out of the equation that Dr. No started it all, established the formula, it's got Sean Connery, I still enjoy Skyfall more.
All right. I disagree.
The question, what's a better movie, or what do I like more?
Well, there's 2. I think there's
question.
2. I think you could argue both points. I think you can argue that Dr. No is a better movie, and I think you could argue that Skyfall's a better movie. I also think you could argue Dr. No is more enjoyable, and I also think you could argue Skyfall's more enjoyable.
I enjoy Skyfall more, but I think on the whole, Dr. No is a better constructed movie, but I think Skyfall's better executed.
From here on out, in your lifetime, which will you watch more?
Skyfall.
Steve?
Skyfall.
Dr. No.
Yeah. I mean, I know.
Who picked,
I'm not
who
proud
picked
of that.
Dr. No? Was it Paul or was it you guys?
Well, we just were trying to go in sort of an order, so we just picked the first one.
Yeah, and we wanted him to be our first guest. Keep it.
Oh, okay.
But it is a weird choice for them to start with Dr. Know-It-All, other than it was probably one of the cheaper books that they could make, because it was kind of isolated in Jamaica and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the most dynamic of the novels or the films.
Yeah.
It's a little slow.
If you haven't seen Skyfall out there, we recommend see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There will be none of these I don't recommend you see.
That's
and
true.
Some
We're
for the wrong
gonna say
reasons,
we recommend all of them.
Yeah. Except for maybe The World Is Not Enough.
The world is not enough. Shirley
The
Manson.
world is not enough. It's a true fact. We need more world.
Yes, this is Mike Breville. I've showed up to. Do you need me for this World Is Not Enough movie?
Hello.
Hello, Outback boy.
Hello.
Oh, is it?
Hello.
Are we going for an Australian in this? I don't understand it. Mike Breville's always been English. I don't think he'd ever be an Australian.
Biz Luhrmann.
Biz Luhrmann.
Nicole Kidman. Hello. Hugh Jackman. Hobbit.
The size of a tangerine.
Ribbit Proof Fence. Hello. Mad Max. Thunderdome. We don't need another hero.
Once we're warriors. Once we're warriors.
Thank you, Steve, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Steve, for AGing with us.
We'll see you back for each episode here and out.
Oh, okay.
All right, but everybody who's listening in Listenerland, just really great times. And everybody's great, and
appreciate it.
Tell your family you love them.
This has come out, and we've already done more. So, any advice you have regarding this episode, we're not going to take it.
Next up is From Russia with Love. And do we have a confirmed guest?
Love. I'll try and confirm it right now, but we're trying to get Doug Benson to come on and watch that.
After that will be Quantum of Solace, which probably nobody wants to be a guest for.
So you're going in first, last, second to last. What's going to be the final movie?
For Your Eyes Only.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you later, everybody. Dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hello.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.